Hey, hello, and welcome back. I am super actually excited to talk to you about this. Improving your cardiovascular fitness without the cardio. So, there's three basic things that you can do, super easy things actually, to improve your cardiovascular fitness without doing more cardio. And the goal is how do we, number one, leverage dopamine, the power of this magical reward chemical? How do we, number two, leverage the power of air hunger? And number three, how do we manage the mobility of our rib cage so that it is more in line to function efficiently with the intention of getting a two-legged creature that has arms swinging back and forth? How do we manage that thing so it's more efficient as a human walking forward through space and time? And that's what we're going to talk about today. So I'm so happy to have you here. Thank you for listening and tuning in. The thing is, cardiovascular fitness is very important, and there's all kinds of levels and there's all kinds of detailed ways to really crank it out and improve it. But at the absolute minimum, we really should be getting around 150 minutes in 30-minute blocks per week. That's like very minimal for human fitness and longevity. And then you can change all kinds of things, but those are the things we want to talk about at the root. Now, what can really help you get to that goal, or even if your goal is 300 or 400 minutes a week, the same concepts that I'm going to talk about can be applied to whether you're a beginner or you're a seasoned athlete that's training for a 100-mile race. So pay attention and check it out. So dopamine is this magical chemical. It's actually called a neuromodulator. And what it does is it helps some systems and circuitry in your brain work while other systems and circuitry in your brain not work. And it really helps to figure out how to make you motivated and to do things that are beneficial for your survival. Now, dopamine has other applications in movement and some other things. And so this video is not about all those. It's specifically about leveraging the power of dopamine in its ability to motivate us to get better at cardiovascular fitness, or really anything. And so it turns out that if you think of something called growth mindset, which is, if you look into applied positive psychology research and psychological research, it's this concept that the work, the struggle, the rub, that's the benefit. That's where the growth occurs. And so if we take our focus away from the goal, right? Away from the I want to be able to run XYZ, or I want to be able to do this thing. And you instead convince yourself that during the activity, during the struggle, whatever it is, it doesn't even matter. During that activity, that's where you focus the intention of this is good for me. Yes, this is terrible. Yes, this is uncomfortable. It hurts. It's difficult, whatever, but it's good for me. And because I'm going to sit here and do it anyway, I'm going to be able to get to my goal. But if we focus with our beautiful frontal cortex and our ability to label things, right? Because you're going to label things anyway. So you might as well choose how you want to label things. And if you're in the rub and you're in that difficult setting, that difficult thing, and you say, this is what's going to help me improve later, then you actually start to release dopamine in that instance. And then that gives you some reward, and it allows you and helps you get through the difficult situation. And so this could be when you're physically exercising. This could be when you have one of those dark nights of the soul, or a traumatic thing happens to you in your life. When you're able to adjust and put that the struggle, you convince yourself, right? You have to actually sit there and say, look, this sucks. And I'm going to convince myself that it's good for me anyway. And it might even be tapping into some of this ancient wisdom that all these mystics have throughout the thousands of years, that the suffering really doesn't have to occur. It's actually a choice. It sounds ridiculous, and I've had some pretty ridiculous traumatic experiences in my life, and it's true. And you ask a whole lot of other people that have survived these traumatic events and these difficult times, you can choose to make it be positive. You don't have to, and you're not a bad person if you don't. That's a whole nother conversation. But you can. You are empowered to choose to label the difficult thing as the medicine, so that then you actually complete your goal. And that's how you're going to be able to get more cardiovascular fitness success, by labeling the difficult feeling of it to be beneficial for you. Okay, now number 2, what I mentioned was air hunger. So it's a whole conversation. I've actually done another video about air hunger and how it can be leveraged to help you improve a lot of things. And it goes all through kind of the mechanisms and the physiology. I'm not going to get into that kind of detail. I want to keep it real short and sweet for this one, because my goal for people, I want to lower the barrier of getting started on your journey, whatever it is. Lower the barrier to start and lower the barrier to continue. And that's why I'm offering these short, easy ways to help you start an activity or a journey toward a goal and actually get there, by making it easier to stay committed to your goal. And so one of the things about that is you make it simple, make it super simple. And then later on, once you start getting the habit formed, right, and once you're actually moving forward, then you can start tweaking things to maximum this and maximum that. And that's wonderful. But that's not how it's easy to start. And I want it to be easy for you all to start. And if you're trying to continue, to help you continue. So if I cycle back around to the air hunger, all you have to do is breathe less. It's so silly simple, but we still don't do it. Now, when you start breathing less and slower, which is less, all of a sudden you'll start getting warning signals going off in your brain. Breathe, 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 you're going to die. And that might be true. But this is an opportunity for you to say, wait a minute, am I really in danger? Or is my beautiful protection system, I like to call it the lizard brain, is it just saying, we're going to die? And it's sort of freaking out a little bit, and it doesn't need to. So start slowing down your breath all the time. When you're sitting down doing your screen time, when you're eating, have your mouth closed. There's all kinds of benefits for chewing with your mouth closed, but one of the things it really does is it makes you breathe through your nose. So shut your mouth as often as possible and breathe through your nose. That will slow down how much air you can get in and out, because the hole is smaller. And what will happen as you slow down your breathing is you'll start to feel this creeping sensation of, I need to breathe more. I need to breathe more. You might even feel a little bit of a flush of some sort. You might kind of get hot. And that's where you want to lean in a little and be calm with it. And here, you guessed it, tell yourself, label it for the dopamine, this is good for me. All right. So now you're going to stack these two things together. The convincing yourself that your struggle is good for you, and increasing air hunger. Not a lot, right? If your air hunger causes you to gasp and have a big rescue breath, that's too far. We don't want that. We want a subtle, moderate amount that you're like, I really would like to breathe more. I'm really starting to feel a little bit nervous that things are going wrong. However, my positive, beautiful brain can say, yeah, and I'm okay. If I really need to, I can just stop this. So I'm in control. So that's going to take away some of the danger. But you're going to lean in. You're going to deliberately put yourself in a situation that's a little bit of a rub, and you're going to get used to what that feels like. And you're going to use the dopamine trick by convincing yourself this is the positive thing. And what that's going to do is that's going to create a cascade of physiological changes inside your system, which again, I've talked about before and I can talk about at a different video. It's going to get a cascade of these physiological changes, which are going to make it easier for you to do your cardiovascular fitness. It's going to make it easier for you to get in there and get those 150 minimum minutes a week broken up into 30-minute sections. And it's got to be 30 minutes because that has to do with how we use our energy systems, how we use stores of glucose in our bodies, and we have to transition to a different energy source. So that takes a little time to occur. But that's the reason that we want to get these 30 minutes of moderate exercise, zone 2 exercise. So the second thing we're going to do is we're going to slow down our breath all the time. not just when you're being physically active, all the time, so that you're used to it and it's easier when you go out and you're doing your physical activity. Okay? All right. Now, number 3, we are two-legged creatures with arms that swing back and forth as we move forward in this gravity through space and time. And that's a whole conversation about the Postural Restoration Institute and where they've come together and how I leverage these concepts deeply in my work and in my physical, personal life. But if we think about the fact that we're two-legged creatures with arms that are swinging, something has to twist. And if you look at the spine from the lowest vertebrae, L5, on top of the sacrum, go all the way up to the top 2 vertebrae, C1 on C2, the higher you go, the more rotation you have available to you because of the way the vertebrae are actually constructed and designed. So what that means is the best place to start twisting with arms that are swinging opposite of legs happens to be the heart line, the middle of your rib cage. It's roughly T8. It depends on the exact level isn't as important as a zone because that's about the top of the dome of your diaphragm, okay, inside your rib cage. So the third trick to getting your cardiovascular exercise to be improved by not even having to do more cardiovascular exercise is by mobilizing your rib cage in a way that is more effective for, number 1, breathing, actual expansion of the rib cage, because that's where the lungs are, right? They're not in your belly. That's not where the lungs are. They're in your rib cage. And so we want to get that rib cage mobilized, number 1, for the ability to breathe actual moving air in and out. But also, number 2, is the transition of rotation needs to occur in the middle of the rib cage. So the easiest way to take care of that, to start that process of mobilizing the rib cage, you guessed it, ball shape. People that know me and work with me, they always laugh that my answer to almost every single question is ball shape, which means lying over a big yoga ball, therapy ball, those big inflated balls, or maybe even a big pile of pillows, something that when you lie over it, it's going to make your body fold and round over the ball. You want to support your forehead so your head's not dangling in air because that might make your neck upset. Support your forehead and allow the ball or the pillows to push the rib cage backward. So you're limiting the amount of forward body expansion when you take a breath in, which automatically is going to reset your rib cage position and shape. And then you're using your breath to mobilize the rib cage backward, which is going to do some really cool things to your spine, some really cool things to the ribs themselves, so that you can actually have more mobility in that area. And you can also breathe more efficiently and rotate around that middle rib cage level. Now, the second thing I'll add to the regular ball shape that I'm always hollering about laying over a ball, is to actually get sideways crunching. So I'm going to add the recommendation of belly ball and sideways ball. And that's going to really help you figure out a way to mobilize your rib cage to close down one side and expand the other. Now, the vast majority of us, the overwhelmingly vast majority of us, have a very specific, predictable movement pattern. And typically what that means is the right side rib cage is more compressed than the left. So typically the left rib cage is easier to open than the right side. Everybody adapts to this differently. So it's not about this is right and this is wrong and Jim said this and so said this and I don't look this way. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a fundamental, basic human body based on anatomy tendency. But we all adapt to it differently. So what I'm going to ask you to do is be your sovereign, empowered individual. Take your time, go slowly, think about it, reflect on if it's a good or bad or appropriate thing, and always the asterisk. If you have medical complications, if you have a body that's super stiff, if you have injuries that you need to be managing, consult a medical professional first. You're empowered to make these decisions for yourself. But overall, what I'm saying is, number one, in order to mobilize the rib cage to be more efficient for the intention of a human with 2 arms and 2 legs that's moving forward through space and time in this Earth's gravity, lie over a ball on your belly, support your forehead, and try to breathe slowly. And you guessed it, you can add air hunger there, and you can add dopamine release by convincing yourself that whatever difficulty you feel is worth it. Again, be mindful, if something is feeling like it's going to be injured, I don't mean push through it. Matter of fact, I always say this analogy of callus and blisters. If you go out and start doing some hardcore work outside with your hands and you're not used to it, you're going to get blisters on your hands. But if you move in slowly and over time you slowly increase the work, then your hands are going to adapt and become more resilient to the stress. So you're not going to get calluses. You're not going to get blisters. You're going to develop some calluses. So it's a very powerful, powerful thing to remember. We don't want blisters. We want calluses. We want slow, deliberate, resilience building activities so we don't hurt ourselves. So if you're deciding to lie over a ball and I'm sitting here on one side telling you, oh, it's okay, breathe through it, commit yourself, it's okay. But in your heart and soul, you're like, man, I'm going to hurt something. Then get up, reflect, and try again. But if you think about it and you're just lying over the ball and you feel a nice gentle stretch and you don't have any complicating factors and it's uncomfortable because your lizard brain is yelling at you, maybe you sit there and lean into it a little bit. Maybe you sit in there and go, I think I'm okay. And that's up to you to decide. So after you're on your belly and you're doing belly ball, you're going to lie on your side. I'm lying with my left side on the ball, which is causing opening of my right side, which is wonderful. I want to make sure I'm blowing out with some sort of force, not as super aggressively, but some sort of force so that my right rib cage has to learn how to close down from an opened position while my left side is closed. And then I'm going to flip over and I'm going to do right side lying now on the ball. And I'm going to say to myself, is this super easy? Does this just feel like it's not that big of a deal? Maybe I only do the left side lying and I open up the right side. Or maybe I'm one of those people that have a hard time opening both sides. So I need to do both. Now, this is what I recommend. Lie over belly ball first. Calm, gentle, soft breathing, air hunger, adding some coloring, some labeling of with your frontal cortex, your prefrontal cortex. You're going to label the sensation with it's good for me so that dopamine kind of has an opportunity to get in the mix, right? And then you're going to lie on your left side. And if you're one of those people that need to go to the right side, go to the right side and then go back to the left side so that you're doing an odd numbered set of these breaths, but you're starting and finishing on the left side. So you're still considering in the back of your head, hey, I'm a human. And unless I've been told otherwise from when I was a baby and the doctor went looking for my heart and it wasn't in the right spot, if I never was told that, your organs are probably in the same spot that as the vast majority of everybody else. So you want to left side, right side, finish on the left. And you can just do any percentage of this, right? You want to try to balance out this fundamental human tendency. But again, as I said in the beginning of this video, my goal with these videos and this assistance with the way I feel I'm being called to help people is getting it started, and then continuing, because that's the journey. You have to continue. And so at the beginning, just start. Just lie over a ball for 30 seconds. Or just sit with your mouth closed and slow your breath down. Make it imperceptible to yourself and others around you that you're even breathing at all. No neck tension. Find calmness while you slowly breathe. Maybe you're out walking around with your friends and you notice that your heart rate's kind of moving and you're just going to tell yourself, yep, this is good for me. Yep, this is good for me. Whatever the entry point into this journey of building wellness and resilience and moving forward as you work to reactivate your superhuman state, which is the ability to be powerful, heal ourselves for the vast majority of the time. Sometimes you need to go out there and get help. I don't mean those things. I mean this human vehicle that we're driving around our consciousness around this world. It is a phenomenal machine. It is amazing. So use these opportunities to just start the process of reactivating this power, this inherent sovereign superpower we all have at some level to improve ourselves so that we can be happier and more healthy and enjoy ourselves and focus on joy and experience. And then when it hits the fan, okay, it hits the fan. And there's ways to kind of work your way through that. But we don't have to be stuck there. And so these three things that I'm talking about today to help you improve your cardiovascular fitness without even doing more cardio, so that you can more easily get to your minimum cardio of 150 minutes a week broken up into 30-minute sections, or you're already a super crazy fitness person and you're training really hard and you're up at 400 to 500 minutes a week, you still will benefit from this, because not only is it going to help you, these three things that I'm talking about, leveraging dopamine, leveraging air hunger, and managing a rib cage with the intention of making it efficient for a two-legged creature swinging with arms. You do those three things, everything in your life is going to be better. I'm telling you, I'm not even hubris, hyperbole, right? If it's true. And just start, reflect, see how you feel, and try again. And just keep kind of moving forward. But remember, we're after calluses. We're after resilience. We're not after blisters. Nobody needs to hurt something with this situation, right? We want to go slowly and enjoy the process. Relax. Trust it. Trust this process. And you're doing great right where you are. Start walking toward improving whatever level you're in right now. That's what I'm trying to share with you. So I really appreciate you coming with me today. I want to wish you a blessed, wonderful day. And as always, please check down below in the description, because I'm constantly releasing new things and I don't always have the opportunity to tell you about it in the video, but I'm constantly creating new ways to help you and guide you on your path. My goal, again, is to guide curious humans on their path to reactivate their superhuman state so they can rest, recover, so that they can be powerful and enabled and resilient to go out there and enjoy their lives. And I'm going to keep creating this content, and I'm going to keep offering suggestions and various pathways and journeys. So just check down below in the description for the most up-to-date version of what's going on. And you can always go to my website, jimwhittican.com, and that's going to always be updated as well and have the most relevant new information. So once again, thank you so very much for joining me. I truly wish you a blessed day. Relax, trust the process, and above all, enjoy the ride. All right, take care.